I'm really excited for this episode for you guys to watch. I've kind of failed to mention that I'm going to be doing interviews with other horse trainers through these. It's just not going to be following my journey. It's also going to be able to gain some knowledge from other horse trainers in the industry and in different equine disciplines as well. So this episode though probably is going to be one of my favorites, as it was really last moment. I was just off to go and pick up this 3-year-old from the trainer, and I decided maybe I'd see if he wouldn't let me interview him at the exact same time. So it was really spontaneous, it's really raw, and I'm just really thankful that he let me interview him. And it's also pretty neat because he's helped influence my riding abilities the last 10 months. He's really helped shape me and fill in some missing puzzle pieces along the way. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I look forward to being able to interview more people that I really admire and respect along the way. And if you guys have any suggestions of who you'd like to see me interview, or any connections to people that you think I should interview, please let me know in the comments below. Alright, so I am sitting here with Lee Poncelet. He is a horse trainer out in Lumbee area, right? Vernon. And I was lucky enough that he actually was able to take one of my own horses in and train him for me. So I just thought that it would be fun to interview Lee today and have him tell a little bit about himself.
Well, thank you very much. I've been training now for close to 30 years, I guess it is, somewhere in that ballpark. And a lot of the horses we do get in are a lot of the cow horse lines, is what we kind of pertain to more so, but we've been switching a little bit more over to the barrel world with some of the crossovers on the run on one side and some of the cows on the bottom side, and it seems to be working really well. So we still apply our same techniques to training them as a cow horse, and we're just applying that now to running around a barrel as opposed to running around a cow. So these young horses that are just getting started, we're just trying to bring them out as quiet as we can. We try and do as much as softening as we can. We try and get them laterally soft in their face, in their rib cage more than anything, so they're using their back end. And that goes with just about any sport, right? It doesn't just apply to cutters, cow horses, reiners. It applies to jumpers, it applies to barrel horses. If they're not using this powertrain, it's not working. You'll have rear wheel drive all the time. You want it working there, not front wheel drive. So
it's like having a 4x4 versus just getting stuck all the time.
And it's the same as having your truck pushing with both wheels as a posi track and not having just one wheel spinning. So if you treat it the same way as you're driving your vehicle, you want that back end pushing you all the time up to your hands. It makes the back end more powerful.
And that's key thing, especially with barrel racing, is having that power. I mean, powering out of those turns, that's where a lot of people lose that 1/10 of a second that we need, is because you don't have enough power to get out of there and build that speed to get to your next barrel.
Yeah, and what I've seen more than anything, like in the barrel horses now, they're getting so well a little better broke than they were before, and it's just like level of horsepower has gotten better all the way through each discipline, you know, not just barrel horse, but all the horse industry has gotten stronger because of the breeding and the level of trainers are stepping up. But it still comes back to the basics, you know. You've got to be able to pull that nose around, break that rib cage, and drive that horse from behind. It's pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of magic to it. It's just common sense. A lot of it is how that works the most out of here. So by speeding up things to get more speed, the only way someone gets more speed is more power. And that comes from there. You know, and so a lot of it you'll see horses that make time up in the barrels, I see, is more on the corners. That's where I see they lose a bit. Because most horses can stride, either long strided horse or short strided horse is going to gain either or, but it's the ones that make that turn that much quicker. 1/100th of a second on each barrel is going to add up. And if you can't handle that horse with softness and haven't broken your legs, but there's resistance, and you know what resistance causes? Time. So
I guess I've been riding with you for almost 10 months now. And when I first brought my horses to you at the beginning, I think I have some pictures that I might be able to actually show of how they were using themselves and how they were developing muscles instead of being able to use themselves all throughout their whole body. I was individualized, had bigger shoulders on my horses, not enough power in behind, and your techniques and schooling and lessons that I've taken with you have really improved the way my horses can move, the way their muscles are, the way they look. Like they're more powerful, better looking animals now, just through.
I think a lot of it is just, you know, like a lot of people get a horse collected and driving up. That's easy to do from here to there.
Right.
We need to collect from here to there so the back end's driving like an accordion.
Right.
So when you get on your horses, and if you're looking at your own horses at home, go and take a look at them and visualize and take a look at it, what it looks like from even symmetrical, right? From front to back. Are the shoulders bigger than the back end gasket? Are the gasket, you know, everything bigger in the front or bigger in the back?
Right.
We want everything more powerful back here, so there should be theoretically more muscle back there.
Right.
So if you see your horse is kind of overbuilt on the front end, he's just been working out a certain way, not using what you then you can change that. It takes about 6 weeks if you're consistent. Is driving that horse up, driving that horse up. You know, when you do your stops, you back up lots, everything's drove from behind, forward, backing up, breaking those rib cage a bit. So you have to make sure that they always driving, and it's I don't mean nagging, I mean pushing up. It's like a dressage horse is driving up, so that back muscle is bending, meaning the back end is pushing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that creates more power.
Right.
In the back end. So a lot of it is just feeling that horse, and then you can do that your own self, doing your checks. Let that horse long trot, give him some rein and let him trot. Do you see him feeling like he's driving from behind, or is he pulling from the front end?
Right.
That's just a check. Okay, well I got to fix that by teaching him to push up by using my leg power. And it's not a pick on music or event. It's just drive up.
Right.
Drive up. Drive up. And it's kind of like a rhythm, so it's like a song, like boom, boom. And you watch, you know, people dance.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the same way. If they're good dancers and they've done it all their lives,
yeah,
they have a lot of rhythm, and that's what you want to watch in a horse, to me.
Right, I agree.
And I think that makes a big difference for this in here, which if this is pushing, this is softer here.
Right.
Because you're not pulling on as much. You're driving them up like an accordion.
Right.
Yeah.
So if somebody was just getting into, wanting to, I guess, adjust their training program or just getting into barrel racing altogether, what would be the 3 top things you would recommend for them to do, or top tips, I guess, would be the...
I think the biggest thing with any, and it's not just barrel horses, it's just any horse in any equine sport, is to get them broke. And there's different versions of what people say broke. Biggest thing is right here, is between your legs.
Right.
Getting them so they can move off that legs laterally, the shoulders, the hips, the ribs, 2 tracks, side pass, all these things that you can do, which puts more effect into your legs and less hands.
Right.
We all ride with probably too much hands.
Yeah.
Because when you get on a horse, what they give you a center rein.
Yeah.
So you're 80% hands, 20% legs.
Right.
If you can switch it around, do the other way, you're going to ride your horse in the middle of your horse more, which causes you to sit more in the middle of your horse. You're more balanced on their balance point, which affects everything through their body.
Right.
So I think the biggest thing, I don't know if you can limit to 1 or 2 things, but is to get that horse soft is a big thing for me, and I'm a stickler about, you know, being able to bring that nose around from my leg by teaching them to come to my leg, squeezing them up with my leg, and that's the biggest thing. A lot of horses that you get in for training, you put a leg on them and they think one thing.
Yeah.
And that's to go.
Right.
Well, we don't want to go until we ask them to go, and you can tell them to go with your seat.
Right.
Right? But a lot of it is that horses get put a leg on, they think their gear shift's stuck and the throttle gets stuck down.
Right.
When you don't want that, because then they don't respond to what you're asking.
Right.
So a lot of it is just basic lateral movements, vertical movements, and asking for the maneuver to get a maneuver going fast. Because you can always go fast.
Yeah.
Right? You got to go slow to get fast.
Yeah, got to be able to get the command in the same gear that you started that asking that command in before you ask for the speed to then follow.
Yeah, and so everybody gets in a hurry. You know, if it's a barrel horse or a rope horse or a cow horse, you know, everybody's in a hurry to get it through.
Yeah.
You know, try and push them too quick. And it takes a lot of horses out of that way because it takes their brain, kind of hurts or fries them out a bit.
Right.
So I think a lot of it is if you're not in any hurry, you know, and you just do it, you know, 1% every week, not 1% every day.
Yeah.
Because that takes only 100 days if that was the case to be 100% perfect.
Exactly.
So that's why your horses take a while, and that's why your good horses are always 6, 7, 8 years old. The dressage horses are all 12, 13, 14 years old.
Right.
Right? It takes time.
Right.
Right? So don't be in a hurry is the biggest thing. I think is a lot of it is people get in a hurry, and then if they got a real good horse, sometimes that's even magnified even worse because now I got a world beater.
Yeah.
And then you jump hoops. You go from kindergarten to grade 3.
Yeah, I've been guilty of that.
And everybody does. I mean, I have too. So as long as you recognize that and you go kindergarten through the stages, you'll probably be all right.
Right.
Right? You'll come out at that level where you want to be in a goal in 3 years or 2 years.
Right.
You got to think of it as a puzzle. And I tell my clients a lot of time, you know, you're starting out with a puzzle of only 12 pieces.
Yeah.
And as you advance, you get 12 together. Now the next part of it is another 12.
Right.
So you're adding the pieces of the puzzle, and they all start tying in together when you get them together.
Yeah.
Right? You can't have part of a puzzle done and then try and make it to the other end without adding them as you go.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that comes down to just slowing it down, to go slow to get fast.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's my favorite saying is smooth is fast.
Yeah.
So.
And that goes with even when we're working the flag on these young horses or the cows. If you just let that train you somewhat, and no different than them hunting a barrel. If they want to hunt a cow,
Yeah.
you want them to figure out where to be and where to put their feet.
Yeah.
You're just going to help them kind of be a little more efficient
Right.
and more athletic.
Right.
And then you hope that everything that you put in time starts to fall in as an athlete,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
that's the biggest thing, is just time and make it slow and don't be in a hurry.
Perfect. Couldn't have said it better than myself.
Yep, there
Yeah.
you go.
So, is there anything else that I should have asked you while I had you in front of my camera?
No, I just think, you know, the biggest thing is, you know, go and ask questions, go and ride with people, you know, and I'm the same way. If I can ride with different people and learn something, don't be proud that you can't learn from somebody, even if you're in the same business. So
Right.
the more you can go stand on a fence and pick someone's brain and they're willing to help you, that's better.
Yeah.
You know, don't be closed-minded where you're thinking that, you know, my way is the only way or his way is the only way.
Right.
That's where it comes again to that puzzle. If I can take something from someone else, or I can ride with you and pick up something from you,
Yeah.
you know, because you wrote. There's another.
Okay, so we'll just go back to. All right, so.
There's a young colt for you right there. Scared herself.
Yeah. Fell asleep. Realized that.
Felt there's something poked her in the nose and she can't wait.
Yeah.
But there you go. There's what happens when young horses kind of a fragile point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one thing that we're trying to incorporate in these young horses or instill in them. As soon as that happened right there, she came back to me.
Yes.
She didn't leave town.
Yeah.
So thank goodness that didn't happen.
Yeah. No, it's just proof that she'd rather come back
That's
to you
right.
than.
And do it that way, then
Yeah.
try and leave. That's what you're trying to emphasize on these young
Exactly.
horses.
Because I mean, she's completely relaxed again now.
Yeah,
so
she's had
she's
2
happy.
months riding, so you can't expect them to jump from there without being scared. That's just Mother Nature taking over.
Exactly.
You know.
So
Good.
perfect. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for everything. This last 10 months has been incredible to watch my horses change, to watch my own riding change, and you were part of my missing puzzle piece. So
Yeah.
it's been amazing.
Yeah, and it's been a treat to see that, because every time I see you, I can see the difference in your horses.
Well, thank you.
Right? And that makes a big difference. It means something is changing.
Yeah.
Either it's improving or getting better, or it's helping your horses work. And like I say, if you think you can shave off 1/10 of a second, then nowadays that's a big thing. That's
It's
a check or
huge.
no check.
Exactly.
Right?
It's. I mean,
And-
for rodeos now, it's the difference between first and last. That's
Right.
how close everybody is, because everybody is so competitive.
Yeah, and that's just like in every sport right now. Roping, everything is a same thing, 1/100 of a second.
Yep.
Cutting is 1/2 a point.
Exactly.
Everything is so close to everybody right now that you have to be competitive, and so you got to look at trying to get my horse maybe a little bit better broke than the other person.
Yeah.
Because everybody's riding the same kind of horsepower just about nowadays.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you'd have to, the only difference is now that okay, I need to improve my horsemanship and riding ability to help my horse.
Exactly.
And a lot of it too, like we missed out a bit on, was the horsemanship,
Yes.
which is something that's very important. People just kind of like jump into a sport and they kind of forget about how do they get to be better in that sport.
Yes.
So you have to learn how to sit a horse, feel a horse, you know, how you ride with your feet, and make it as important as your seat in riding as it is in doing the sport.
Yeah.
Because you're going to interfere with that horse, and if that makes a difference in that interference on a run, for say, in barrels, and you're flopping around, not sitting right, you're probably hitting them at the wrong time, pulling
Right.
on the wrong time, your balance is off, there goes your 1/10 of a second,
Exactly.
if not more,
Yeah.
right? And it happens quite easily when you have a high rate of speed involved
Yeah.
in barrel barrels or heeling horses or head horse. Everything's a higher speed.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to be that much more of a horseman.
Exactly.
Right?
I agree.
So
Perfect.
it's been a pleasure to ride with you, and it's been a pleasure to watch your horses improve. It's just been a real, something to see, because it's always nice to see as a trainer, for me, is to see the customer and the client's horses get better, and they want to learn.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I think the person has to want to learn, no different than I wanted to learn to get better. So what is it going to take? It means going out and watching, reading, riding with some people, and picking up a little bit here and there.
Exactly.
Put it into your bag and try and see if that fits into your puzzle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And add to it. So
Exactly.
I want to thank you for doing this. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. Thanks for being my first guinea pig.
Good job.
Perfect. And we might have to do another video in the future, maybe actually show some drills and some things that you do with them.
Yeah,
So,
that's the best way to do it. Then you can see a little bit, and it's easier to see it, I think, and watch it than just someone telling.
Exactly. So we will come back and do a future video together.
Perfect.
But
Thank you
we got
very
to start
much.
somewhere,
Thank
just
you
like we do with our horses.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks, Lee.